The rich and powerful want us to think the economy is a line on a stock market ticker. That's wrong. The economy is powered by us. It's what we create, what we buy, what we need. President Biden has proposed bold public investments in jobs and families, but more is needed. We need housing, healthcare, caregiving, action on the climate crisis, and millions of good-paying jobs. This is our moment to finally unlock prosperity for all of us. For more information, go to prosperus.org. That's prosperus.org.
Welcome to episode 129 of Five and Dive, twice weekly podcast from Baseball Prospectus. It's April 23rd. I'm Baseball Prospectus' lead prospect writer, Jeffrey Paternostro, and joining me is our editor-in-chief, Craig Goldstein. Craig, you've had quite a day on Twitter.com.
I've had quite a day overall. I went and got my second vaccination shot. I'm pretty jazzed about it. Excited to see how those effects play out over the next 12 to 36 hours or so, you know? But apparently it's mad online is the first one.
That is the first symptom that you've had. Well, we will start with something you might be less mad about. Our first topic is it's easy winning 12 games in a row. Tell them, Craig. Craig, you and Bradford a couple weeks ago had some things to say about the 1-7 Oakland A's.
Yeah, I mean, talk about being wrong about a team. I don't have the ability to. I'm thinking of the defector headline that on Ray Ratto's piece, which is something like the Oakland Athletics are not the Oakland ass, and so I am forced to eat my words. Mm-hmm. It was a very good headline. I mean, so I had just pulled up what the A's were doing a minute ago, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think the A's are actually that good. Like I look, they've been very good. They won 12 in a row.
Saying Matt Olson won't continue to hit 389, 439, 944.
It's not even that. Like, I think Matt Olson is. It's not even that. I think Matt Olson is good. Mm-hmm. Matt Olson has an OPS around 1100. Yeah. That's great. Jed Lowry has risen like Lazarus after 2 years with the Mets.
Speaking of symptoms of things that happen,
right?
A common one.
I think Jed Lowry is good. I think Mark Canha continues to be good. Yeah. Canha, I don't know how to say his last name. Elvis Andrews has a 390 OPS.
Yeah.
Mitch Moreland has a 730 OPS. Steven Piscotty is almost at 800. But this is not like a good hitting team. So you go to their pitching and you think is okay, it must be their pitching. Sean Manaea is doing great, 3.04 ERA, 22 strikeouts in 24 innings basically. No one else has even a league average ERA. So it's all their bullpen. Lou Trevino has been excellent. Your man. My man. Always good.
I'm running that 4K per 9 rate because usually he's got to be a little bit closer to like a K per inning.
Yeah. I mean, he's not really walking anyone.
He never walks anyone. It's a lot of fly balls.
Right.
And it's the right part. So, a lot of fly balls, but you want a few more strikeouts.
Yeah. It is. JB Wendelken is good. Jake Diekman is good. I'm not doubting the quality of any of these guys.
You named a lot of good players on the Oakland A's, Craig.
I named 4 good relievers.
You named 4 good. Sean Manaea is good. You named a couple good hitters.
Sean Manaea is good. Yeah, sure. My point is how
they're tied for first with the Mariners. This division is a train wreck. The Astros just got swept by the Rockies. I know it's 20 games, but
right. No, but I guess that's more the point here, right? Is that the A's are. I'm not saying the A's aren't good. The A's have a -2 run differential. So they've won 12 in a row, and they have a -2 run differential. Can we just say that's not that good a team? Like, we don't have to pretend this is a great team. They're doing it with a great bullpen. Making a great bullpen work over the course of a full season is very difficult. And it's not because the guys aren't
they've
good.
Done the last 3 years, but
okay, but they also have had very good run differentials over that time. So they've actually performed to the record much of that time, and some of that includes having a very good bullpen. Winning by bullpen and Matt Olson alone is hard to do, in part because Matt Olson is also a very streaky hitter. Sure. When he's not hitting, where is the Oakland offense?
I mean, he hit
no, I don't think Matt Chapman's
games. So
okay, but again, their offense was Marcus Semien was good. Was not great, I understand, but it was a good player. And the last 3 years, they've had this bullpen, but they also just let Liam Hendricks go. They replaced him with Trevor Rosenthal, who's out for much of the year, if not the full year. I mean, I just don't know why we have to pretend, because we've seen them be good for 12 games or whatever, that this is all of a sudden like a different circumstance. The way that they're doing it, again, -2 run differential
to win the division. So
okay, but Jeff, they have a Pythagorean record that would say that they're 500 team.
Sure.
So why are we pretending because they've won 12 in a row and they're playing a little bit above that it's something
if they
different
legitimately have a good bullpen? I don't know how much Pythagorean record's going to mean long term. I guess we'll see.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point. But I don't. I'm just saying it's a very hard thing to do. What was the last team that did that well with having a negative run differential? It was like the Diamondbacks way back when, right? They won a division.
Orioles did it 1 year or two, and one of those Buck Showalter runs.
Was it a negative run differential? I didn't realize it was that. Okay. I mean, that's fine. But again, you're pointing out that they're the exception.
They got blown out early in the season a bunch, so run differential is going to be skewed to a certain extent by 1 or 2 blowouts after 20 games.
Okay, but blowouts are part of it's part of the season. My point is that this is 20 games in, like it. I don't know. It's fun. They're fine. They're fine. The Mariners, as you said, are also 12-7, and no one is like, why are you giving Mariners the respect that they deserve?
I mean, because Oakland's made the playoffs the last 3 years and won the division twice.
They're also a different team than the one that did that. I mean, just because that happened in the past doesn't make them good now. Yeah. Unless your argument, if your argument is they have a secret sauce, that's fine, but that's not any. I mean, that's a fine argument to make, but you're not actually arguing with logic. You're just saying, I have a faith in this team, a belief that I have. Like, it's not like that's not an argument that like they're doing something sustainable that otherwise wouldn't be, and they're legitimately good at that thing.
What I'm saying is that Yusmeiro Petit is a glue guy.
Okay. And that's fine. I think it's insane that they're the only team that employs Yusmeiro Petit. He was a free agent until like February. He's great. I love watching him. I have no issue with it.
Last 4 years with Oakland, ERA 3.00, 7.1, 1.66, 1.69.
Apparently that's unemployable.
Yeah. I mean, he is 36 now and throws 87 miles an hour on a good day.
Hey, listen, that's harder than Nabil Crismatt throws.
It is. He's literally running a career high. Oh, Crismatt gets it up into the low 90s.
All he threw, when I looked at least for the second, the inning that I saw, he was only throwing changeups and curveballs.
I mean, it's not fastball. Probably something we should do. Yusmeiro Petit running a 47.1% ground ball percentage, which is by far the highest in his career. Again, it's 10 innings, but I wonder if he's doing something different. I'm also noting Petit had a 100% strand rate last year.
That's good if you can do it.
Yeah. So does that mean
is that the secret sauce?
It's just only give up runs on slow home runs.
But my point, so obviously Bradford and I made this pronouncement on the A's, and they're not as bad as they appeared to be. They're not cooked or anything like that. But you predicted them to win the division. Do you still feel good about that?
I mean, they're in first place, so yes. I mean, so I almost talked myself out of it when we were doing the AL West preview, but I just...
All of these teams are flawed.
Right, that's the thing, is...
Yeah.
I don't know that they're significantly worse than the Astros. If you consider the Astros their biggest competition, you can throw the Angels in there too. And I
think the Astros are... Yeah, Astros and Angels are the two.
I mean, at this point, they've banked... I mean, it's only 3.5 games. That's 3.5 games the Astros are going to have to outplay them the rest of the year.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so also I've kept saying 12 in a row. It's 11 in a row. They were 1-7. They won a row, but they're 12-7. Yeah, I apologize for that. But I guess the other thing I would say is, like, for people acting like this is, I mean, look, an 11-game win streak is never not going to be notable, right? Like, it's it's talking about and noting and that kind of thing. But we're at the point in the season where the Royals are also in first in the Central. Like
I thought the Royals were better than you might think too. So they're not that they're
okay. I also said that, and I believe we both said that they were a 75-ish win team.
Yeah.
The NL, sorry,
Craig,
that
might win the AL Central this year.
The NL East has one team with a positive run differential, and it's the Marlins at +1, and they're in third place.
Yeah. Are you saying?
I don't give a shit.
The table is a lie, Craig, as Jose Mourinho would say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I need to be quoting him this week. That's not great. Yeah, I'm just saying
that was the greatest news dump in history, firing him in the middle of the European Super League stuff, so no one even really paid attention.
I saw someone say, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was, but someone said he will forever go down as the only coach fired, Super League coach fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's fine. The Royals are not going to win the Central.
Yeah.
The A's might win the West. I will discount them. I don't think this is a particularly good team, but it's not a particularly good division. So it is what it is. But again, we're 19 games in. Again, there are so many teams that are in a place that they're not actually going to finish right now that I don't know. I just by the same token, like, do we get to brag about Pacoda being right about the Braves? Do we get to brag about Pacoda being right about the Cardinals?
On the show once.
I didn't.
You said,
but I'm saying right. Like, it's not. It was look. It's not. But
people can't tell when you're joking. Apparently, Craig.
My point was that you don't get to say it this early, and by saying it this early, it's a joke. Mm-hmm. It's like it's not real. We're 20 games in. It matters, as you said about the Yankees yesterday online. Like, are they aware that like these games count? Like these games do count, but they don't matter yet. Like when comparing to like what you anticipate a true talent level is, like this, it all matters. Like you're saying, they're banking 3.5 games right now, right? That does matter, but like it's 20 games, and there's so much time left for things to change.
Speaking of games that matter, Craig.
Yeah.
Our second topic, stay classy, San Diego. Dodgers-Padres round 2. Padres strike first. Craig, these games are exhausting.
In terms of how long they take, or tension,
how
or
long
what?
They take when they start on the East Coast, and the tension, I think.
So, yeah, I don't really have I mean, look, I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm biased, but like, I don't really have a problem with how long they were taking. How long was yesterday's game? Was it really that bad?
It's like, I don't know. It was over 3 hours for a 3-2 game. Okay,
yeah. I mean, right. So this is the Red Sox Yankees rivalry when it was good.
Right.
No one. It's like exhausted. Like that's played out at this point. But like both teams are incredibly patient. Both teams grind everything out. They don't really give in on anything. So like you're not just like wrapping up the game. And I think Joe Davis said this yesterday, but like they've all been within a run in the 8th inning thus far, all 4 games. So like there's the tension is there in the score. It's definitely there in like, I think you can tell how much the players want it. Right. The rivalry, like we talked about this before, but like Kershaw not giving in to Darvish was really fun. Mookie pounding his chest after that catch was a lot of fun. The fire that the Padres, I mean,
Trent Grisham
Trent Grisham, I mean, the bat flip, that home run was unreal. Yeah. That was so cool. And I mean, Jake Cronenworth's play on that double play.
Yeah.
And I don't want to undersell Tatis either, because you need to have freakish arm strength to pull that off. Because he was coming off the bag at kind of a weird way, and just that was an absolute laser to first. It's been so much fun. It is. I mean, it's exhausting, but I go back to what I said to Bradford in our podcast earlier this week, which is that like, and I chatted this to Meg Rowley at Fangraphs. Like this baseball to me is so pure. Like this is so fun and interesting. Like it was captivating, even though it took a long time to me. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't to you. But like
it's like mentally exhausting watching it. It feels like watching a playoff game. I know Sunday night is going to be like 4.5 hour, like 7-6.
That's going to be really
Sunday night game. Yeah, it's not going to be good.
That's going to be really bad. I do appreciate that they're offering us a non-Vescursion A-Rod broadcast for it, though, because I was not looking forward to having to suffer through that. I agree. They are like playoff games. It is exhausting, but to me, it's exhausting in like in a way that like you're pouring your energy into it as opposed to like it sucking it out of you. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like those Red Sox.
See how you feel Sunday night about that part.
Yeah, that's fair. But like those Red Sox Yankees games are like soul crushing now because it's just like this is not fun. Like this is like both teams kind of hate the Rays more at this point. Like it's not. They're just not like different enough as entities. Mm-hmm. For it to drive the pace that way. I don't know. But I do think the Padres.
They both became like the evil empire at some point, so that was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Now they're both like making trades to get negative CBT value contracts. So.
Now the Dodgers are the evil empire, and like the Padres are the rebels and the fun team that is. I don't know if they're just as good, but they're goddamn good, as we said. Like I think they're the second best team in baseball. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll be really fun when both of these teams are at full strength, because I think you can make the argument like no Cody Bellinger for any of the Padres games thus far. Mookie's banged up. The Dodgers had two lineup revisions from their starting lineup yesterday because two guys were out with. Zach McKinstry has a lower back injury, or not injury, but stiffness. Chris Taylor had the same thing. They're playing like Luke Raley and Sheldon Noisy, who hit a home run, of course. But to the same extent, like the Padres are down Mike Clevenger for the whole season. They just lost Adrian Morejon for the whole season. Dinelson Lamet is back on the IL. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Like they've lost multiple relievers. So like, neither of these teams has been at full strength, but they've both, again, I go back to what I said last podcast, which is like both these teams are bringing it every game against each other. And even though they are long and they are tense, like there's a vibrancy to it that I really like. That is, to me, like the polar opposite of these teams that are, what I complained about last week with Tony La Russa, where it's like, I'm just throwing it in. I'm going to protect my pitchers and we're going to come get them tomorrow. Like neither of these teams are like, we're going to go get them tomorrow. No, it's all about today. And we're pushing. And this is what fun baseball is like to me.
Well, I think too, if you look at like the 2020 season, both the regular season and the playoffs, I don't think either of these teams believe they're ever out of a game.
So Sam Miller messaged me last night when the Dodgers, they took the double play. They had the runners on first and third in the eighth inning, or the Padres did. Yeah. And they took a double. They had their guys set at double play depth. They got a double play grounder, but they gave up the run. Mm. And the question is like, how many normal teams would be playing in at that point? Yeah. How many teams? Because the Dodgers, they took the outs because they believe that they can score. And by all accounts, they should have scored, but for Jake Cronenworth and Fernando Tatis making an incredible play. But like, again, they don't believe they're out of it. They'll take that play because they know that they can put up those runs. So I think that's a great point. And I think, San Diego did play infield in when it was no outs and that kind of thing. But again, it's like it was the bottom of the eighth inning. I think that's the right play there. And I don't know that the Dodgers not playing in was the right play, but I think it speaks to the fact that like they think their offense can score no matter what. They're going to give you that run because they know that they think they can score too.
We'll now head around the horn. And as Craig just mentioned, Dinelson Lamet left his first start back with forearm tightness. Always a good sign. Oh, they say he's just going to like miss the minimum.
Yeah, I think they're planning on bringing him back after 10 days or something like that.
I get that guys don't want to cut and why guys don't want to cut if they can avoid it. But
yeah, of course.
This gets to the point where you're like, if it continues to go bad, you're losing 2 full seasons at this point.
Well, he was hurt towards the end of last year.
Right.
Now, if you build in, I don't know,
Tommy John
a few weeks.
Early mid-May, you're really at the point where you're not going to be in play for 2021 either.
2022.
2022, yeah. I don't know what year it is. It's fine.
You think it would take that long? I thought it was like a year.
I mean,
A year to 18 months, so it depends. So if
he cuts in May, and let's say it's 16 months, it's September of 2022.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. I mean, that's tough. To me, that's a pitch. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, conversely, at this point, it doesn't really matter whether he has the surgery in May or the surgery in July. So he might as well try to come back as many times as he can until it becomes untenable.
Right. I think that's fair. And we don't know that. I mean, it's a strain, right? So we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, really the severity of the damage. I mean, I will say, I don't think the Padres are risking anyone unnecessarily or anything like that. But Mike Clevenger also came back off something that was not, they brought him back off the IL for the playoff start, and his UCL popped the next time. I don't think that it's endemic to the Padres or anything, but these guys do have to consider that that's a real possibility. Yeah. And Lamet's never really been particularally healthy. He's not pitched a full season.
Tommy John surgery on his resume as it is.
Yeah, so. Which to me, all the more reason why you don't want to be rushing to get the next one.
Yep.
So I certainly get that, but that is tough. I also, we didn't mention this on the previous segment, but since we're still talking about the Padres, can we talk about Ryan Weathers?
Yeah.
I mean, he's made 2 starts in his career, both against the Padres, against the Dodgers. Yeah. He's made 3 appearances against the Dodgers. I think in 10 innings, he's not allowed a run, has 10 strikeouts. He went 5 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. This is, again, credit to, I was talking to RJ Anderson about this yesterday. He said, this guy has stones, because by his look, the stuff is not bad, but it's not shut down the Dodgers over 10 innings good. But it's not, it hasn't I mean, it's not been he's been
he's a weird one
on the front half of top 100 lists or anything like that. He's good. He's
arm, three major league quality pitches, but maybe not a true swing and miss wipeout offer.
Right. Right, and he's out there with
harder now than he did at draft time too. So,
yep. No, I'm just trying to say he's been really impressive, and as much as they need, they kind of at this point they have a billion arms, but they kind of need one, and he's really stepped up. I don't think he's going to have a 0.59 ERA all year. Sure. But would it shock me if he ended the season with a 3.3 the way he started out? I don't know. That doesn't seem insane to me. 3.3, 3.5.
You already mentioned the Marlins are the only team with a positive run differential. They were out without Starling Marte for a little bit.
I saw he left the game, but I didn't actually see what the injury was or the severity.
It's some weird, I don't think it's actually an oblique, but I think it's some weird abdominal thing.
Something on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough for a lineup that isn't particularly good outside of Jazz Chisholm.
Brian Anderson is hurt as well. Eliezer Hernandez is throwing again. It's going to be a little bit later on Sixto, although they're not. There hasn't been good news on him per se, but not bad news either. But he's not really. I mean, it sounds like he's not going to be. He might be a month to 6 weeks away at this point.
Jazz Chisholm has a 1,000+ OPS.
He does.
Marte was at 912. Miguel Rojas is at 817. No one else is over 8. As you mentioned, a lot of their pitchers. Trevor Rogers has been incredible.
He's really good.
Sandy Alcantara has been good.
Yep.
And seems like he's going to be providing them a fair amount of bulk. He's averaging over 6 innings per start in the early going.
Yep.
Pablo Lopez has been good.
Yes.
And Nick Neidert has not.
He has already been sent to the the alternate site. I think Jordan Holloway is back again.
Holloway is back. Daniel Castano has been okay. I don't imagine that's going to continue. He's got 2 strikeouts and 4 walks in 10 innings. He's putting Yusmeiro Petit to shame.
Yeah.
But no, this rotation is going to be good. Especially
the bullpen's sneaky good.
Yimi Garcia has been incredible. John Curtis, who they picked up for basically nothing, has been very good. Dylan Floro, again, nothing. I mean, they're former Dodgers out the ass here. Richard Blyer has struggled, but I think he's probably fine. Adam Simber. These are what's amazing about this is so Garcia's been there for a little bit, but Curtis, Floro, Simber, Ross Detweiler, all of these guys have been good. I mean, I can't believe it, but Ross Detweiler, all of these guys have been very good, and they got them for nothing, often from other teams. Sometimes they get cut or whatever.
Right, this got mentioned in the Twitch chat that it's like extra Dodgers arms, and I feel like it used to be extra Dodgers and Rays arms, which is probably a good place to shop. It used to be extra Yankees relievers popped up everywhere doing this kind of stuff, or they were always sort of rated in the Rule 5 draft. We saw that this year with the Dodgers and Brett DeGuss as well. I think that's going to be a thing to watch going forward.
Yeah. So Mike made the same point that Vesia is an interesting piece for the Dodgers too. Yeah. I forgot that was the return, so I shouldn't say for nothing. He's an interesting guy, Vesia, but again, early days. It's not anything to get excited about. But the bullpen is has been good. I think the pitching in general is going to be good. Again, I said Sanchez, but they also have Edward Cabrera.
They have Edward Cabrera. You could see Max Meyer before the end of the season.
Max Meyer, right? I mean, people were saying Max, especially if you want to talk to bullpen, like people were saying Meyer could be ready, go straight into a major league bullpen last year. Obviously, they're not doing that, but they absolutely could. But I don't know. I don't think the Marlins are particularly real. I do think they're going to hit better than they have been, but the lineup is pretty weak at this point.
Yeah, it's a couple.
I think overall,
it's a couple bats short of probably where it needs to be. And you would have liked. Yeah. I'm sure they would have liked to get that from Monty Harrison or Lewin Diaz or Jesus Sanchez or Isan Diaz or Louis Brinson. Have I gotten
everyone? Sierra, but I don't know if they could reasonably. That. I mean, part of it is like, look, again, 16 games, but Garrett Cooper has a 605 OPS. He's been one of their better hitters the last couple of years. Corey Dickerson has a 667 OPS. That's mostly just not hitting for power. He's hitting, 280 or so. Brian Anderson has also been atrocious.
Yeah.
So some of those guys are going to get better, but I think Adam Duvall is about league average OPS. That's fine.
He's been very Adam Duvall-ish.
Right. Yeah. No average. Solid power. He's fine. Yeah. I don't know. The last one on Around the Horn, Jeff. Corbin Burns will not stop.
He will not.
He will not.
Man. Yeah. It's 40 strikeouts and no walks so far.
I mean, I think did I say this about Burns or Woodruff? I'm sure I've mixed it up at this point, but I said one of them was like a poor man's Jacob deGrom. And that they just keep throwing harder and harder.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sneaking up on people. I mean, obviously the big thing
is no longer sneaking up on people. Yeah.
No. But I'm saying this started earlier, and I mean, I include Woodruff in this. He's not been as good as Burns or even close, really, but he's been damn good. Lucas Apostolaris wrote about Burns's evolution since 2018. For us earlier this week, right before his start, when he went out and struck out another 10, didn't walk anyone. I think he hasn't allowed more than 2 hits in a start or something like that. He's been incredibly good. It's been a lot of the cutter, as I said. He tunnels the pitch really well. He is using the cutter, or heading into that start, it was 50% of his pitch mix.
Yeah.
With a changeup the next most at 14%. So by far the most dominant aspect of his pitch mix. I mean, what are you seeing when you look at Burns? And I mean, it's a great run. He's not going to do this forever. But.
I mean, it's like, what if Mariano Rivera was a starter, but also had a plus slider too in the. It's the one thing with him is I just don't know the limits of the human body here. Can you throw 96 mile an hour cutters for 200 innings across an entire season without your elbow exploding?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But every time I watch him, it's like a cheat code. It's
and the slider is really good too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's the other part is that it's a distinct pitch, and it's it's unfair.
Right. It's like a brute force thing. Like in a way you don't even think of, in like comparison to DeGrom. Like DeGrom obviously throws 100 with a 93 mile an hour slider and a 91 mile an hour changeup that are both, plus or better pitches, but it feels more like you're watching, and not that Burns has bad command by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels like you're sort of watching the best aspects of Greg Maddux with the best aspects of like Roger Clemens in a way.
What I was going to say about DeGrom is, like you're saying, it's obviously he's a power pitcher,
right?
But he kind of throws like he's not. Like he paints a corner, and then you're like, that was 98.
Yeah,
like that was 100. Like he threw it like it was 93.
Right. And Burns is just like, hit this motherfucker.
Right. Which I respect a lot. I don't know. I mean, what he's given up one run all year. It was Byron Buxton taking a good pitch.
Yeah.
Out to center, like right center, but like deep center. He absolutely destroyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This is the kind of thing that it's the other part of it is it makes me think like, okay, what is like Oral Hershiser's, scoreless streak in jeopardy? I mean, it's not. He gave up the run earlier this year. He's not exactly doing that, but this is the kind of form someone has to be in to threaten it. And then it makes me think like, I don't know if that record's ever getting touched.
We'll take a break now. We come back. We'll do our last two topics.
New hot and iced Sunrise Batch Coffee from Dunkin'. A bright and balanced, full-bodied blend brewed so you can get summering from sunrise to sunset. And even after that. Because that's when you can show off those string lights you hung in the backyard. Or rehung. Enjoy a medium, hotter iced Sunrise Batch Coffee for $2. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to Sweet Tea USA, where we know our sweet tea, and we like it sweet. Sweet in the morning to get you through the day, sweet in the evening to put a smile on your face. And McDonald's knows sweet tea, too. That's why you can get any size sweet tea for just $1. Plus, with insulated large cups, your drink stays cold longer. Here in Sweet Tea USA, everything is a little sweeter. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal as compared to prior large cup.
Welcome back. Our fourth topic, Craig. A pirate's life for me. Really, it's a pirate's life for Craig. You had some fun with Pirates fans on Twitter today?
Yeah.
They like your sense of humor?
Yeah, everyone gets me. That's been my entire career on Twitter. So
the Pirates are 9-10, we should say.
The Pirates are 9-10. They, they've been fine. So Patrick wrote about for Box Score Banner today. He used the Pirates as a way to talk about the National League, but also kind of all of baseball. Like if you, like we were talking about a lot of these records. Mm-hmm. There are 5 teams. Sorry, now in the AL with positive run differentials. 5.
Yeah.
How many of them would you guess have winning records?
3. 2.
How many teams in the NL with positive run differentials have winning records? It's 3. Like this is it's weird, right? Some of that is it's 20 games.
Yeah.
But it is a little weird.
It's a lot of interdivisional matchups, and no one's really, outside of the Dodgers, really kind of really looked great early.
The Brewers have a plus 24 run differential.
Yeah.
And they're 11-7, and that's fine. But they're not. It's because of their pitching. I mean,
a good lineup.
They've allowed 55 runs this year. Like their run scoring is not especially impressive.
Do you have any thoughts on Billy McKinney and whether he's for real, Craig?
I don't think he's for real, and Judge will kill me for saying it. But some of this is also that there's weirdness in that, like the Astros. You point out the Astros and A's, right? The Astros blew out the A's for 3 games.
Yeah.
So the Astros have a +5 run differential. They're 8-10.
Yep.
Where the A's have a negative run differential and they're 12-7. So some of it's early season weirdness, that kind of thing. But anyway, Patrick was writing.
This was an issue coming into the season too. It didn't feel like there were that many great teams. And even the good teams, like the Braves and the Yankees, as you mentioned with Bradford earlier in the week, have not gotten off to good starts, which might be indicative of wider problems. It might not be. You don't really believe the Royals are for real, the Red Sox are for real, the Mariners are for real.
Well, how about this? Another way to do this is, what do you think the worst winning percentage is right now?
It's got to be the Rockies, right? I know they just swept the Astros, but it still has to be the Rockies, right?
It is the Rockies. It is the Rockies.
Yeah.
But so the Rockies are 6-12 at a .333 win percentage. Yeah. The next worst team in Major League Baseball is the Minnesota Twins, which again is a team that people expect to win the division, getting off to a bad start. 353. But like, I guess my point is this: that like the bottom isn't that bad right now.
Sure.
Very few teams are running away with anything. You know, again, the Royals are 10-7 at the top of their division. The Red Sox are 12-8 at the top of the division. The Brewers are 11-7 at the top of the division. You want to go back to the NL East? The Mets are 7-7, and tied with the Phillies at 9-9 for the division. The Dodgers are the only team running away with anything, and they're 2 games ahead of the Giants.
Yes.
So look, some of this is weirdness, but the point is that he's talking about the Pirates, who are 9-10. They have the 4th worst run differential in all of baseball. They're a -16.
They've won a lot of 1-run games against the Tigers recently.
Yeah, and look, they had a split series against the Padres. It's not like they're only beating bad teams, but the speaking of the Tigers, they are at 7-12, so the 3rd worst team in baseball. So he's talking about them. He even compliments. He said Brubaker is actually might be promising. He's been very good. Is this the time I bring up Colin Moran for you to talk about?
Coming a good April for like the 7th consecutive April.
Right. Adam Frazier has been very good.
Phil Evans, your 2021 Pirates breakout pick.
Phil Evans? Yeah. I think he might be legitimately good. Like, he can hit now. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he has a particularly good defensive position.
They've been playing him a little bit of everywhere, like first base, left field, third base. He was DHing in the Tiger series. Yeah, apparently.
He's been good. He was great last year before he literally broke his face in a collision. And so,
but just go back. I want to go back to Colin Moran for 1 second.
Yeah.
27.6% Ks, 372 BABIP. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
we do this every April.
Look, Colin Moran is Colin Moran.
Colin Moran is 32 years old now.
He's not 32.
I know.
So look, Patrick literally. I have it up in front of me. He puts in the piece, but this isn't really about how the Pirates aren't as good as you think. And yet somehow Pirates fans took this to mean we're shitting on the Pirates. Look, we can shit on the Pirates. They're not good, but that's not what even this article was about. It was about how
the heel turn on Pirates fans. You were praising them throughout the preseason that's the
thing, because they're being assholes about it. Anyway, look, I really like Pirates fans in general. I don't know why this got their hackles up. You know what I mean? I guess his point is that we have this league where it's extremely bifurcated, and right now some bad teams are playing over their head, some good teams are underplaying, and it means that there's this giant middle with no real bottom aside from the Rockies and no real top aside from the Dodgers, right? That's basically where we're at right now. And again, it's 19-20 games. No one is pretending that this is going to hold, but we're just looking at what's happening right now. That's Box Score Banner is about bannering about stuff that's happening in the moment, right? And so, Ginny, we post the tweet from the BP account. It's like, here's what we're talking about with a clip of the article. Yeah. And Pirates fans, jokingly, I know it was a joke, guys. Don't worry. I know it was a joke.
Please don't put in the podcast that I got mad.
But start saying like, this is anti-Pirates propaganda. They don't want to say how good we are. I get it. Someone said, this is like, it was stuff of that nature, right? Where it's like, we get a visit from your dog?
We have a visit from my dog, yeah.
Fantastic. But you know what I'm saying, right? I tweeted about this. Where's the other one? Oh, someone said, how mad are you right now? Right? And so this is the trolling, like, we're celebrating what we're doing, whatever. And that's all well and good. But I commented, I said that Pirates fans were being like weirdly aggressive about a 9-10 team, right? Which is, I thought, like playfully throwing a dig back at them, right? But then I've been getting like a 2-hour thing where people are just replying to me, and it's a combination of let us enjoy this success. Then it's like we were joking, dumbass. And then also, like, they're doing better than expected. Why won't you let us have this? And I'm like, well, was it a joke? Was it, like, what are you having? And also, like, I'm just, like, first of all, I was just playing around as well. Like, I was being a dick back to you. And, like, by its nature, like, trolling, like, if you want to have fun, troll, like, God bless. Like, it is, but by its nature, trolling is also, like, defensive/aggressive, right?
Yeah, we're also getting a visit from my wife and baby now, apparently.
Yes, I see that. And so anyway, it's just like, look, guys, I get it. I get that this is like better than you expected to be, but I don't know why we have to be upset about the idea that, like, if you're going to quote tweet an article that you clearly didn't read and call it out for mocking you or whatever, or for not giving you proper respect or whatever it might be, or appreciating where you are in the season and where you've been before, like, that's fine. You do what you want. But, like, that is the reason you do that, even in a joking manner, is because on some level you feel that this is an unfair take on your team. Because if you actually didn't care, like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't comment. You would just go on being happy about your team. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm a
Mets fan. I'm never happy about my team, Craig, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
No, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I don't begrudge being happy about your team.
Sure.
And I don't begrudge dunking on people, but this wasn't a spicy take from Patrick.
Patrick doesn't really have spicy takes generally. So.
Patrick doesn't have spicy. His column is literally cold takes.
All right.
I don't know. And also, like, people are like, you're mad about it. And I'm like, did you not see the part where I said you were a game under 500? Like, that was the barb back. Now, maybe it wasn't good. You wouldn't tell me it was a shitty insult. Like, that's okay. But as I said, I sent you one guy.
Yeah.
But, like, he was like, so first of all, he says 4 different things to me. People kept saying that they might not win 40 games. They were so bad. No one said that. Mm-hmm. No one said 40 games. That's insane. Again, like, that's being, like, you're trying to buy into the fact that your team was so bad that you can celebrate a sub 500 start. Fine. 9-10 looks a bit better than that for now. Oh, okay. So this is not actually about having fun. It's about how your team is actually better than it was supposed to be. And then it's like, why are you a baseball Grinch? Do you live in a no fun zone? And I just want to point out that, like, maybe, sure, fine. But I just want to point out that, like, Baseball Prospectus, which made the tweet and which had the article that no one read,
and whose editor-in-chief is clearly not mad about this at all.
Look, Baseball Prospectus is an analytical website. The point is not is the point of of what we do when we're analyzing a team or a player or a game or anything is not to make you feel good, not to, like, pump your fifis up over your team being sub 500 when we expected them to be drastically sub 500. Like, that's not the point. Maybe someone writes that in an article, maybe that, but like, that's not the purpose of the thing. So like, I just don't understand I think I do understand it. I don't think they understand the dynamic of what's happening here.
Well, for some more cold takes, let's take a turn to what to watch for the upcoming weekend. More Padres-Dodgers. The Sunday night game looks particularly good. Dustin May against Joe Musgrove. It's the Emma versus
the
everyone
Joe
else.
Musgrove experience.
Yeah, Emma versus everyone else on the show, basically. Dustin May is striking guys out now, Craig. I'm reliably informed.
Yeah, is it the breaking ball? We're just going to call it the breaking ball.
Yeah,
the breaking ball looks good. The cutter looks good. He is still piping a lot of 97, like lower middle.
Sure.
And I think the Padres are going to be able to make some contact on that.
I was looking up the whiff rates on various fastballs because something about when I was watching Trevor Rogers, because Trevor Rogers has the highest whiff rate on four-seam fastballs this year among starting pitchers, which maybe you wouldn't have guessed, although it's a very good fastball. Fun list. It's as of whatever, when I was looking at that yesterday, I think it was Trevor Rogers, Jacob deGrom, Kenta Maeda, and Taijuan Walker were the top four.
Taijuan Walker?
Yeah, he's got a good four-seam.
Sure. I guess I just wasn't expecting it to be that high.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's 3 starts.
Yeah.
The relievers were even funnier because it was Josh Hader, sure. Sam Howard, who at the time had a 50% whiff rate on his four-seam and an 800 slugging against on his four-seam.
Really?
Yeah. It's living on the edge. And James Karinchak was third. But the point of all this is that like Dustin May had like the highest swing and miss rate on the cutter this year.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, look, that makes sense because you've got his normal two-seam is riding, tailing in. And then you throw the cutter. His cutter doesn't even move that much to the glove side. It's just that it doesn't bore in on right-handers or away from lefties. And I mean, he's not throwing the cutter to lefties that much, but what is the horizontal delta on the cutter and two-seam? I don't know off the top of my head. But, I'm sure Mike can look it up. He's very familiar, but I don't know off the top of my head. But he's 18 inches something. I mean, it's something nuts like that. It is significant.
We will continue the Yankees discourse until morale improves or their record improves. Garrett Cole.
We should point out before the Darvish Kershaw is tonight. I know you don't want to talk about tonight, but...
and Bauer Snell on Saturday. So they're all good matchups.
Also tonight, Steven Matz, Tyler Glasnow.
Sure.
Matz has been really good.
I put this in the doc. I'm kind of intrigued by the entire Blue Jays Rays series.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who's winning that division. And the Blue Jays have gotten off to a
I don't think it's the Red Sox.
Right. The Rays have been fine. The Blue Jays haven't gotten off to a great start. So I'm sort of curious to see how this plays out.
They're going to need Nate Pearson.
At some point, yeah.
He seems to be throwing, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, they're gonna need Nate Pearson. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know. Did you say Bieber Cole?
Bieber Cole on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then in sort of like concerns of the podcast, Pablo Lopez against Kevin Gausman. Also, 2 teams with positive run differentials. There aren't a lot of them. So
For now. I don't think the Giants will go under, but we don't know about the Marlins. Mm-hmm. Did you say Sunday?
I pulled the May Musgrove from Sunday, but if you got something else you want to...
Right, May Musgrove. I mean, Brandon Woodruff, Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta's been... No, well, first of all, you know Woodruff.
This week, yeah.
Okay, fine. Sorry, Luis Castillo, Jack Flaherty, more to your liking?
That's better.
That's also Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I think... look, Arrieta's been... Got a 2.86 and 18 ERA and 18 strikeouts.
I mean, he did face the Mets this week, so... That's probably part of it.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that the Cubs had scored, and they're doing it again. They're blowing out Milwaukee right now, but they had scored 41% of their runs in between Sunday and the Mets blowout.
Oh, I believe it.
That was, but I don't know. They are going to hit. I'm
Sure.
honestly not that worried about their hitting.
Maybe not Javi Baez, but
yeah, for all the take on him, like he's slugging okay. He's making God, it's 10-0 today against Milwaukee. Yeah, they are. They're going to be up to like 50% of their runs over a 3-game span. They might get a positive run differential.
I mean, I root for a soccer team that scored like 20% of their goals in one game this year. So
the Cubs are at -8, so they're currently at a +2 run differential on the season.
It's 4.
It's all happening.
Unless they put Milwaukee. Milwaukee said with +27, so they're still safe for now.
Someone said Lindblom not good. Was it? I thought it was Brett Anderson that started.
It was. I thought it was Brett Anderson, but who knows?
If you want to say Lindblom isn't that good either, I hear you, but I
don't think
maybe they're both not. Maybe they've both pitched in this game and neither are good.
Oh, Brett Anderson left after a third of an inning hurt. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. Relieved and got shelled. Yeah, I see. Thank you, Colin and Jamie. I do have to say that Patrick does have some spicy takes. Colin pointed this out, but they're mostly about grammar. So people tend either not to care or not to see them. Mm-hmm. So that's fair. Yeah, I think the Jays-Rays series. Also, those are really good uniforms.
Sure, yeah.
That's a series worth watching on uniforms alone. As with Dodgers-Padres, I think. So
I saw Hat Club had like the purple Rays hat with the World Series patch. That was very good, except
purple Rays hat.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's good.
I will say, did you see my Griffey hat? I posted it late at night. That was a baseballism
every morning, so
me too.
Yeah.
That was a baseballism purchase if people were looking for it. It's very good. I had not gone to them otherwise, but it was a good. The quality is very nice. It turned out very well. So,
all right. I think if we're doing hat chat, we can probably put a cap on it, so to speak.
Fair enough. Oh
yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Five and Dive, brought to you by the Baseball Prospectus Podcast Network and our Patreon supporters. You can support our Patreon, patreon.com/5anddive, and get in touch with the show at 5anddive at baseballprospectus.com. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, and various other podcast sources. Just search for the Baseball Prospectus Podcast Network, and we'll be in that feed. If you're on one of those services and enjoy what we're doing here, I don't know why you would, especially if you're a Pirates fan. We'd appreciate if you rate and review us.
No, don't.
Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Team USA is training hard and ready for the Olympic Games. And so is Jacob.
Whoa, I've got my lucky shirt and Xfinity Flex.
Oh yeah, Jacob's family got Xfinity Internet with the best Wi-Fi for their home and a Flex 4K streaming box free, plus Peacock Premium included. So Jacob is ready for anything.
Go Team USA!
With medal ceremonies, highlights, interviews, and more, plus all his favorite streaming apps in one place.
Can your internet do that?
Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Peacock subscription required.
Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA.
I have PenFed, that's a fact.
I have PenFed, that's a fact.
My credit card purchases get me cash back.
My credit card purchases get me cash back.
No one else gets these rewards.
Sergeant, that is just plain untrue.
What in tarnation?
Sir, PenFed's Paracash Rewards Card isn't just for military members. Anyone can get cash back on all purchases.
Ah, Figgins, you've ruined my favorite song.
PenFed Credit Union. Visit penfed.org/powercash. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.